Alright guys, we have already talked about how to identify your audience and choose the theme of your app. Now it's time to decide on how it's going to work. So what does the app do? Now, as you may have noticed, most of the examples I have given in the course so far are about games more than other type of apps, like for example utility or fitness apps. That is because games is one of the most profitable categories, along with trivia apps, if done properly. So again, this section will focus mainly on getting ideas for the game category, since trivia apps are all very similar and are going to be covered later in the course. But that does not mean that games is the only way to go or that trivia apps is the only way to go. They're probably the easiest if done well, but not the only ones. As long as you can make many simple apps fast, as well as monetize them and optimize them, and even market them properly, you will be fine. Here are a few trivia apps in case you don't know what they look like or what they are. If you want, go download a few, play around and try to figure out how they are being monetized. Go to the channel of the uploader and to see if they tend to upload trivia apps in general. Now, a good way to get ideas for games is to look at old school games. And because you want them to be simple, you gotta go way back. Look at the most popular Atari games, for example. Some of the classics are Asteroids or Space Invaders, but they have been done millions of times. So those wouldn't be the best way to go. But look at some top 10 or top 20 best Atari games or best old school games list and you may get some ideas on how the gameplay in your app could be. Remember to look for games that iterate, like Flappy Bird or Piano Tiles, rather than games that have levels or worlds. Get ideas and try to think of ways to incorporate them to the theme and audience that you have already chosen. You can also look at Nintendo games and do the same thing. Another thing you can do is look for web games or just games in general that used to be very popular maybe 4 to 10 years ago. I remember there was a game everyone was playing during computer class back when I was in primary school. It was a scroller about a helicopter that went up when you clicked on the screen or the mouse and then down when you let go. You had to go either above or below obstacles or walls without crashing. But then I grew up and then the next generation got a different iteration of this same game. And then just recently, the next generation after that got Flappy Bird. I also remember playing like crazy a game called Icy Tower. It was about a little guy jumping on ledges and seeing how far up you could go. Years later came Doodle Jump, a game about a little guy jumping on ledges and seeing how far up you could go. See, Icy Tower was a great game, and probably not even the first one like that, but it was the first one my generation knew, and my generation played it a lot. But when we grew up, the game became less popular. So if the same game shows up again but looking different, kids that were my age when Icy Tower was popular are going to love this new game, Doodle Jump. It's amazing the number of current really popular high-grossing games that are just copies or rehashes of old games, which in turn may have been copies or rehashes of even older games. So just go online and look at very popular simple computer games, maybe popular cartoonish or animated games and see what you can find.